Before digging a grave, a spiritual consultant always tests the soil. Only if it seems safe will he dare to open the coffin. But that day, after testing the soil near the grave, Han-soo's expression immediately turned serious. He paused to survey the area and felt an overwhelming sense of danger. The man who had hired Han-soo explained that his grandfather's grave had been chosen by a monk. Seeing this, Han-soo immediately refused the job. His companions were worried. After all, the payment offered was enough for them to retire comfortably. Han-soo explained that it was the first time in his career that he had encountered such a strong presence of malevolent energy. To make things worse, foxes had been spotted near the grave. Since wild animals often den in burial grounds, Americans or anyone picking a grave would avoid such a place. Han-soo believed the spirits in this tomb were extremely powerful. Opening it could be deadly for anyone involved. But Han-soo's companions weren't willing to give up the payday, so they all returned to the client to figure out a plan. The client explained that ever since his grandfather was buried, his father had suddenly become paralyzed and confined to a wheelchair. Later, the family moved to the United States, but misfortune followed them. His wife had suffered 2 miscarriages, and now, finally, she had given birth to a son, but the child had been crying non-stop since birth. Desperate, the client reached out to YOO-lin, a medium. At first glance, she immediately recognized that the family's ancestral tomb was the source of the problem. YOO-lin then brought Han-soo and the mortician on board, and together they devised a plan: dig the grave while performing a ritual at the same time. YOO-lin smeared horse blood on the heads of several grave diggers and placed a lock of their hair in a pig's mouth. This transferred the malevolent energy from the tomb to the pig. Then YOO-lin performed a ritual to banish the remaining negative energy. After half an hour of digging, they finally uncovered the coffin. They lifted it out, preparing to have it cremated. Just as they were leaving, someone secretly tried to dig into the grave in search of valuables. Suddenly, a snake appeared, its head eerily resembling a woman's face. A man swung a shovel and cut it in half. The snake let out a piercing scream, but only YOO-lin could hear it. She had no idea what had just happened. Dark clouds quickly gathered overhead and rain began to fall. Since cremating during a storm is considered bad luck, they placed the coffin in the hospital's morgue, waiting for better weather. However, the hospital director, seeing such an extravagant coffin, assumed it contained valuable treasures. He secretly pried it open. YOO-lin and her junior disciple returned just in time, but it was too late to stop him. The spirit inside the coffin surged out, and the overwhelming hatred knocked YOO-lin unconscious. Soon after, the client's father heard his grandfather's call from beyond the grave.